Hi everybody, it's Karen from Acaderme. Today we're talking all about the INCI list. What's the INCI? Well, it's a short for International Nomenclature of Cosmetic Ingredients. That big name means the ingredient list you find in the back of your products. So the INCI system was created in 1973 by the Personal Care Council. They wanted something to uniformize all communication about raw materials that are used in cosmetics. So they want the same nomenclature in every country for all the materials. This is so handy for researchers, chemists, formulators, doctors, estheticians, clients, because wherever you are, wherever you go, you're sure to know whatever is in your product. But can you trust the INCI list 100%? Of course not, because I would not be doing that video today. So here's the first reason why you can't trust it 100% is because the quality and the purity of the ingredients. The INCI list shows the INCI name, but you don't know where that raw material came from. There are tons of raw material suppliers and they all have different standards regarding quality, purity, testing. So as a consumer, you can't know if that particular ingredient that was used in that formula is of the better quality or not. You can have two different products that have the same INCI list, but one will be a bit more superior because it contains quality and pure raw material. An example I can give you is when you go grocery shopping, you come in the tomato aisle and you see so many different tomato sauces. Well, if you look at the ingredient list, most of them only have water, tomatoes, and salt, and ascorbic acid for preservation. But if you open all of them and you taste them, they all taste slightly different. And that is because of the origin of the ingredients that are used. Is it fresh or frozen tomatoes? Are they the highest quality or not? Also, the way they package, the way they are crushed, and if they heated them or not, it all depends. So you can't just judge a product by its ingredient list. The second point is the source, the ingredient sourcing. Is it an ingredient that's of natural origin, which means it's a plant extract that's been manipulated in the lab so it's more effective, or it's synthetic ingredient, which means it was made in the lab? For most people, it doesn't make any difference. But for example, if you're a vegan, you would like to know if a certain ingredient came from an animal or not. For example, a while ago, hyaluronic acid used to come from roosters. Nowadays, we don't do that anymore. It's fabricated in the lab, so it's synthetic. So there's no problem for vegans to use it. But imagine you only see sodium hyaluronate on your packaging, so you don't know if it's from a rooster or not. That's why it's not possible to trust the INCI list 100%. My third point is the concentration of active on a box is regulated by most governments. You have to write on the label of your products the ingredients you've used in your formula from the highest concentration to the lowest concentration. Often the first ingredients will be water, penetrating agents, texturizing agents, and then at the bottom you'll find most of the actives and preservatives and fragrance and stuff. Once you hit the 1% mark, whatever's below, you can place in whichever order you prefer. So you can put fragrance at the lowest because you don't want people to think there's more fragrance in your product when there is. You can do whatever pleases you. It's really marketing. So most brands will put the active ingredient at the top of their below 1%, even if it's the lowest, just so customers will buy it. We also falsely think that the active ingredients have to be at the top of the ingredient list for the product to be good. But that's not true, because the chemists, they have a way of putting active ingredients at the lower percentage so it doesn't irritate your skin, but it's still very effective because they pair it with another active. But you don't know that because you're not a chemist. So that's why even if the ingredient is at the bottom, it's still very effective. So the lesson here is is less is more. My last point is that you can have two identical INCI lists, but two different products. It all depends on the way it's made, on the research that the brand has made with the active ingredients. Because depending on their percentage, on the way they were heated or not heated, they were whipped, in which container they're stored, it can change everything. So a formulator, a chemist, is the most important for a cosmetic brand because they're the brain behind the creams. So what did we learn here? That you can't trust the INCI list 100%, but it still tells you a lot about the product, but you can now have good arguments with your client that come and say, hey, look, I found a dupe for your more expensive product. See, this one is way cheaper. But now you know why, because there's less research. The manufacturing process may not be as researched and developed, and also the raw material that was used may not be of the highest standards. So I hope you guys learned a bit more about the INCI today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!